I'm live. Hey guys, or me, or whoever's watching. Man, this chair is uncomfortable. Um, so I don't really want to record, but it's almost 3 a.m. and I know I probably should, just because I want to keep it going. Um, yeah. So last time I was kind of saying that I'll keep kind of talking about who I am, and I guess that is what I will do. Um, I'm Matthew again, and I hate my computer because, of course, there are pop ups. Um, I need a new computer. I'm Matthew, and I need a new computer. Um, I am 27. I think I said that last time. I have two sisters, dad and a mom. I have a dog. We've had not several dogs. We've had three dogs, not counting the one we currently have, since I have been alive. Um, we've had a bird. I've had some toads, a goat. I loved my goat, and I don't know what else. I don't think we never really had cats. We've caught like snakes and lizards and stuff. No, no cows because we're in San Diego. Um, yeah, man, I need a new computer. This little camera's horrible. Maybe I need a new webcam. Well, I need a new computer. And if the camera's horrible, I'll get a webcam. Or I'll just start recording on my camera and live feeding it through. I'm not YouTube savvy anymore. Yeah. So that's kind of my family. Sorry, there's something in my eye that was probably creepy on camera. I've lived in San Diego most of my life, other than Colorado. Um, yeah, I went to school, went to community college out here, and then I went to Colorado for film school. I don't know how much of this is a repeat. That's fine. This is very low effort video production. Um, yeah, I've worked for Sprouts. I've worked for Got Junk, 1-800 Got Junk. No way am I sponsoring any of these. Sprouts was by far the worst company to work for. I've worked for Regal Entertainment, the movie theater. I love that job. I've worked for a lot of oddball jobs. I've done different I've worked in different film companies and freelance. Um, I did some like political campaign survey stuff. That was probably actually my first job. That was horrible. Had to go door to door and asking the residents political questions. Man, that was a job that I would actually work pretty hard. I'd go door to door like 90% of the time, maybe even more than that. And I'd knock on the door knowing only one in like 20 people were going to take the like 3-minute survey. And it's pretty much like yes or no questions. I don't think it was anything like too sensitive. And originally, I was going to do it with my friend, David, because it was kind of a job through his mom. Like, she got me the job. And then, like, the first day of work, he didn't show up and never did after that. So I was all alone. And I was a little older. I was maybe like 17. And it was kind of crappy. Not all of the people, most of the people were weird or a little older than I was at the time. So the oldest person was maybe like 30 some. But that was horrible. That was a horrible job. I remember I had to drive. We got like less than minimum wage. I had to drive everyone everywhere for some reason, all of these people didn't drive. So the youngest guy had to drive all these people like 30, 40 minutes away from the office. And they would always be like, oh, we'll get you some cash. Never got cash. I was driving a Jeep, 98 Jeep. I was getting like 13 miles a gallon, and gas was at the time was really high. And for having a less, I believe it was honestly less than minimum wage job, it was pretty bad. Yeah, so rambled on about that. Sprouts was horrible. Never worked for Sprouts. That was another job where my friend David was supposed to. He was actually working there. I started working there with him, and then that's sorry. I think it was 2 weeks into the job he quit. I was like, dude, I came to this job for you. But I met a lot of cool people there. I was working for Sprouts for about 3 years, and they just took advantage of you every chance they got. Man, I hate my computer. Then I worked in San Diego for Sprouts, and then I went to Colorado and worked in Denver for Sprouts. And then my friend Akeem, that I met through Sprouts, left and started working for 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And he was like, oh, it's great. You gotta keep whatever you want. You know, you get sweaty and dirty and gross. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I started working for them with him. And I loved that job. That manager was an asshole. Paul Yarwood, you are an asshole. He would cuss us out, and even if it was something we didn't do, and he would take advantage of pay, and he would cheat us. And if we ever asked for recommendations for future jobs, I can honestly say for most of my life, I've been a very hardworking employee. And he was an asshole. There are 2 people in the world I will say are assholes, and he is one of them that I personally know or knew. Yeah, love the job. There were some great people there. His son, I won't say his son. Some of the employees would actually do cocaine while working. There's one guy that would fall asleep while driving. There's one time I was driving, or I was the passenger. He would fall asleep all the time. And I would tell Paul, I'd be like, hey, this guy keeps falling asleep. I do not want to be in the truck with him. We would be on the freeway, and he would fall asleep. And Paul was just like, oh, whatever, just keep driving with him, man. Like, shut up. Yeah, he was horrible. But once I moved back to San Diego, which was like 5-6 months after I started that job, I quit. But when I quit, he was like, he didn't even tell me, but I was like, hey, I haven't gotten my last paycheck. It was maybe a couple days before I had to leave. And he was like, well, you have to turn in your clothes. My uniform shirt, which who wants my uniform shirt for a company where you're sweating and literally picking up things with like shit and piss? And I was like, okay, I'll turn them in. Like I was leaving the next day or the day after. So I went out on my way while packing everything, and I drove them down, and no one was in the office. So I put them in the truck because there's a little padlock. So I put them in the truck and locked the truck up, and knowing that they were going to be using the truck the next morning. Clearly, people would see there's nice folded shirt, hat. I don't think there was anything else I had to turn in. Right there on the seat, driver's seat. I had to move it to sit on the seat. And then I moved back home, kind of forget about it. And then I one day checked my bank account, and I'm like, I'm missing some money. Or I never got paid. And so I call him or text him or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you never turned your clothes in. I was like, I did. I told you I was going to. I told you I did. They right where they were. And he's like, well, you aren't getting paid, or I'm going to keep your paycheck since you stole from the company. And it's like, man, pay me the money I worked. I don't know. Crazy guy. Crazy guy. Hope him the worst. Probably evil. Like, I'm a good guy, but man, he would get to me. I don't cuss, and he would cuss us out, and he was a mean son of a gun. Um, I do cuss, but not like a sailor, like not like a Paul Yarwood. I'm hoping that's his last name. Um, he's a grumpy old man. Yeah. Then movie theater, great, loved it. Minimum wage job, but I loved movies and I loved hanging out with the people. And worked there for I think about a year. And I was maybe 23 at the time. And as you can see, my Xbox going on. I was maybe 23 at the time, so I was like the older uh, guy. But I loved hearing about all the like high school drama going on with all the other kids and the girls and oh my gosh, I got a crush on him. And I was never in any drama when I was in high school, so it's funny to see other people go through it and like I can be a part of it, but it doesn't affect me at all. But I really did care for a lot of the people there, and hopefully this is loud enough. I did care for a lot of the people there, and I don't know. I always tried to like pass on advice that I maybe didn't get when I was their age, and yeah, I was kind of the theater's go-to guy to do oddball jobs, things that maybe the high schoolers couldn't do because they couldn't stay out later. So they would have me at overnight shifts where I had to replace like theater chairs and clean the equipment, more so like the concessions equipment, and it was kind of fun. The theater was supposedly haunted, and I had a couple experiences where I could vouch for it. I'm not a supernatural guy, but I could vouch for some of that. And yeah, overall, I love the job. And I think that's one thing I was thinking of kind of before I started recording this was I feel like I try and keep a lot of relationships going, relationships, friendships more so. So with Sprouts, there were a lot of people. I every almost every night after work, we would go to Denny's or Sonic or In and Out or Chick Fil A. Chick Fil A was probably close, but In and Out, and we would eat and talk, and you know, you're with these people like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you probably talk to them more than family when they're your age. You probably can share a few more secrets or gossip. Fortunately, Justin, one of my best friends, I met him through Sprouts, and I've been able to keep that relationship. But there were sometimes people that I would be like, man, if I get married, like, you're gonna be in my wedding party, like, we're gonna be friends forever. And then, maybe a couple months after you leave that job, you maybe send a message or two every once in a while to the people. And now I have no clue where a lot of these people are. Not a lot, a handful. Um, it's just so weird. So weird to me. I feel like a lot of the time I dedicate a lot to reaching out, sending just a little message here or there. Not never. I rarely get a reply from a lot of these people, or they kind of like reply, but you can tell they're like, "Don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to talk anymore. Like, I don't know you." Um, I think that's weird. I think it's too bad, but at the same time, it's like if they don't want to talk, move on, which can be hard. Um, there are times where it's like someone you maybe had a crush on, and while you were there, and you just want to keep a friendship, and you can't do that, even if you never dated. It's like, man, but we're so good as friends, or like we got along on this level. Um, yeah, that's too bad. Um, I think I've gotten better at moving on. I think, oh man, my computer sounds like it's gonna explode in an optimistic way. You can probably hear it. In an optimistic way, I always feel like, if I'm not gonna hang out with them, it gives me a chance to hang out with someone else. Man, is that gonna keep my computer sideways? Sorry. Give me a second, Ooh, there we go. I was charging my computer. That sounds like it's gonna explode. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's say if you're going through something where a friend isn't talking to you anymore, or you're trying to reach out, decide on how much time you want to reach out to the person and how much of an effort and what it means to you. Have expectations. Don't have, I don't know, what is it? Don't expect anything, but be prepared. So be prepared for them to be like, oh my gosh, I want to hang out so bad. But also be prepared for them to be like, just not reply. Don't be heartbroken. Don't have expectations, but be prepared. Um, that's one thing I've done a lot in life, or I've tried to, is be prepared for any situation. You know, kind of read what might happen, and even if that doesn't happen or that doesn't happen, have it so you are either mentally or like materialistically prepared for a situation. So, like the back of my car, I have tool sets, I have rope, I have tape, I have wrenches, I have bags, I have blankets, I have towels, I have battery charger, water, shoes, clothing. Probably even have like a frisbee or a boomerang. I have boomerangs everywhere. I played with a boomerang when I was like 13ish, and I was like, "This is so cool!" So every time when I went to the swap meet, I'd like grab a boomerang if I saw one, and I've had some gifted to me. So I know there's one down there. I think there's one in my car. I've probably given a handful away. They're fun. You need a big field, and unless you're really good, they do not come directly back to you. But that has also been about 14 years since I've last thrown a boomerang. I digress. Where was I? Be prepared. So that's kind of my car situation. I always have food, snacks, sunscreen, towels, blankets, tools, charging cords, extra batteries. It's so much fun probably hearing me list off things in my car. You can make a list and you do the same, and you'll be able to get out of any situation. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Friendships, work friendships can be the weirdest. Sometimes you could get like the gem, like my friend Justin, and stay friends. Um, Same with school. Like the only person I met really through school that is still a really good friend because she lives out here. I have friends in Denver that I just saw recently, but we don't talk every month. We had seen each other once in like 4 years. But my friend Amanda, I met through college, and that was like the only. They were acquaintances that I met, and I would love to hear from them. I think every once in a while I'll send a message on Instagram or something. Um, but that's another where I feel like with her a lot of the time I reach out and don't hear much back. It used to be like every day we were hanging out, we were doing something, and I think maybe our paths have kind of just changed. I think my light's dying. But now, like, I've invited her out in the past. She went on a trip, so right before that, I invited her out like 5-ish times. Yeah, I'll say 4, 3 or 4 for like dinner. And one night she was busy. She said, "Okay, let's do it the next night." And so we were like, "Okay, next night we'll go." I don't know if we picked a place, but we're like, dinner, cool. And then she messages me in the morning and was like, "Oh, like someone else wants to hang out. Do you want to go and we can go hang out with them?" I was like, "Sure." Like, that's fine. I knew the person. Like, I like the person. And then getting ready to go, and she's like, "Oh, like I can't tonight." And she like never hit me up about anything again. So it's like, man, like I get it. We're busy or we have different friend groups and stuff. I try and optimize the amount I hang out with everyone. Like my friend David and I, we do a lot of Xbox. Xbox. Yeah. Only Halo though. Only Halo. Halo 5. Because we gotta get him to max rank. But so I talk to him the most. And then we hang out. I love hanging out with him and his wife and their baby. Then Justin, we try and do like catch up once a month at least. Have dinner. But he's a cop. His wife's pregnant, and they just moved fairly recently, so it's pretty difficult to do. Um, but it can be tricky. It can be tricky to keep a hold of your friends. I think I know what I want to talk about next time. Well, I know what I got to talk about next time. Yeah, so that's kind of my work experience, not counting the film stuff really. That might be a different combo. And my friends. I hope I can get a hold of more of my friends or in the near future and hang out with them. Met up with one of my old teachers that he was like my favorite teacher in high school, and just spent a couple hours and caught up. And we've talked about going surfing together. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's something I feel when I hang out with people for like the first time again. Um, I remember when I went out to Denver and I hung out with my friend Lisette and Cody. And I saw Lisette first. Cody was driving up from the Springs. And she was like, "I'm so nervous." I was like, "Why are you nervous?" I don't know. For me, it's just like, let's just jump back into it. Like, let's just be friends again. Like, it's been, years, or it's been distance and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll stop there. This is already like double my last one. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. Future me or anyone watching. Again, I'm mainly making this for myself, but if anyone ever watches, hopefully you get something from it. I'm a person who, I see any situation and I try and analyze it and take something away from it. Any movie, no matter how shitty. I just watched Monster Hunters, shitty movie, and what I took away from it is I can do better. So good night, good morning, and talk to me later.